So in all this the information that we've seen here, we haven't seen any estimates on what the actual rate is going to be, and we know it's going to go up, or we assume it's going to go up. But has anybody did an analysis on what the ratepayers are going to pay? We have analysis of what the general fund is putting in, $3.5 billion, I believe, is was the first presentation. But at the end of the day, it's what are the rates going to be in California long term? And then the follow-up question to that is when we do reliability and we do central procurement, which I believe will happen. I know that folks are pushing for that. I'm not sold on it yet, 100%, because I'm concerned about, California has set the bar really high. I mean, by 2045, we're going to be 100% renewable. Other states haven't. So I'm concerned about the fact of leakage. Are they supplying gas power plants for their renewable, for their customers, and then selling us their green renewables, and we're actually paying a higher price, but we're not helping the environment at the same time. So there has to be some accountability in, if we're going to procure, green energy from Utah, and they're running power plants to serve their load by selling us the green, we're not really getting where we want to go. At the end of the day, we want to drive down emissions. That's the total goal. But California is a market for all them to sell into as we lose jobs and the workforce here in our state. So I want that to be addressed as well. In the future, I'll have one more year here, and so hopefully we'll see you back again next year. When we talk about cheap solar, but there's a reason that solar is cheap. It's really not cheap, but we subsidize it through tax credits and those different types of programs. And the ratepayer and the taxpayer are one and the same. Okay. So if possible, I would love, when you come back to report again, that you take into account the tax credits that are being put forth. For example, the federal government is going to, assuming that they give the $1.1 billion for Diablo Canyon, it's still coming from a taxpayer. It's just the federal side. So I think in your calculations, when you talk about, hey, we have abundance of solar in California, there's a reason for that, because there's great tax credits to go with it. So there's incentive. But it's still being supplemented by a federal taxpayer because those resources are not coming into the federal pot. So I know this is complicated and not easy to do, but it would be helpful for the public to understand that, yeah, if you have 3-cent solar, it's really not 3 cents because there's a 5-cent tax credit going along with it that the whole nation is paying for. So we want to incentivize those goals to get to green energy, but we have to take into account that we have a major federal deficit, and we also are making winners and losers out of different types of energy that needs to be taken into account.